In a new Instagram video, Godfrey has doubled down on his criticism of Brandon Tatum following comments he made last week on In Godfrey We Trust about Tatum's coverage of the Nolan Wells tragedy. And somehow, Godfrey has become even less subtle. He now refers to Brandon as Officer Taint, calls him a super coon, and describes him as a cartoon villain who actively fights against black progress.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a full moon. It's super coon fighting for the injustices of white people that do shit to black people.
According to what they told me, they all took a lie detector test and passed. And it's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's not a traditional lie detector test, but it's the same theology of trying to get to if a person is lying.
What can I say about Officer Tatum? I'm going to call him Officer Taint, you know, that under part of your balls where dirt collects, a cartoon coon. I'm gonna call this motherfucker super coon. Cause there's like big coons, there's ultimate coons, there's supreme coons, but he's super coon.
I don't know the name of it. It's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's a different methodology.
Super coon. This motherfucker, it's like he's so infuriating that I don't even get mad. Because I really feel like he's being paid. Because one thing about right-wing racist white people, they will pay you money. They will fill a theater up, especially if you're a black comic doing that kind of shit. They will pay money for you to talk about black people. That is lucrative.
In Godfrey's view, Tatum is not simply a black conservative with different opinions. He is someone whose entire career depends on defending the people and institutions that harm black communities. Godfrey compares him to the black figures historically used to undermine organizations such as the Black Panthers and the NAACP.
Yeah, I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took other stressors in order to analyze if the people were telling the truth or not.
Did they take a polygraph would be no.
I don't even think he believes what he's saying. It's always the people that didn't experience slavery that make stupid comments like that. You know, the free Negroes had the nerve to say like that, which is so irresponsible to me and insane because these motherfuckers have like PTSD, post-sellout disorder. Yeah. Post-traumatic sellout disorder. That's what they have. But this motherfucker is a super coon.
Well, yeah, I think it could be semantics because they took a test to analyze whether or not they were being truthful in their statements. And that certified test, they passed it. It just wasn't considered a traditional polygraph. I think it's a more advanced way of doing it.
Brandon Tatum.
Like he almost looks indestructible. See, he's like a Marvel comic or a DC comic villain. See, it's going to take a superhero to destroy him. We need like the X-Men to get the super coon.
It's obviously comedy, but Godfrey's accusation is serious. He believes Tatum has discovered that attacking black people is financially rewarding. According to Godfrey, right-wing audiences are willing to pay black commentators extremely well when they repeatedly tell them racism is exaggerated, black activists are dishonest, and white people are being falsely blamed. And the Nolan Wells case is where Godfrey believes Tatum crossed the line. Tatum has argued that the available evidence does not prove Nolan was killed by the white friends who traveled with him. He has presented himself as the person following facts, while everyone else is allowing suspicion, emotion, and racial anger to take control.
I'll be back on Monday, just so you guys know. I'm going to be hitting these people harder than ever because they're out here lying and being deceptive, and the truth will always prevail. So shout out to y'all, and I want this to be a lesson for everybody that's watching. When you get people that hate on you and lie on you and make these crazy videos claiming all kinds of nonsensical things, that mean you're doing something right. And I want those of you who aspire to be great, aspire to be somebody in life, look at how your boy dealing with it and take notes, and eventually the truth is going to come out, and we're going to be laughing at these people for sitting here lying and wishing negativity on my life. All you got to do is tell the truth, and nobody will be out here, nobody have to say anything to you.
Godfrey sees it very differently. To him, Tatum appears unusually committed to proving that white people had nothing to do with Nolan's death, even though Nolan's family still has questions and the wider investigation has continued. Godfrey is not only questioning Tatum's conclusion, he is questioning why Tatum seems so personally invested in that conclusion.
We need Dr. Xavier, Wolverine, Jean Grey. We need everybody. Gambit. We need that DC and Marvel together. Batman, Green, to get rid of this motherfucker. He should be a villain in the comic books. Super coon. I mean, we need that because you are the biggest villain to black society. We have to. This motherfucker is the doorstop to black progress. You know, they needed coons to ruin the Black Panthers, right? To ruin the NAACP, to ruin a lot of different black organizations. They needed the coon. But this motherfucker here, Officer Taint, is a super coon.
He believes black suffering receives more skepticism from Tatum than almost anything else. When black people raise concerns about injustice, Tatum demands perfect evidence. But when the opportunity comes to criticize the black community, Godfrey believes Tatum suddenly becomes far more confident.
I understand, like in some media, when we go get in on Jason Whitlock, Stephen A. Smith, you know, we get on them when they say like coonish. They go back and forth a lot of times because, you know, it seems like they, especially on black athletes and like that, that's one thing. But when it comes to black death, children being murdered, like this Nolan Wells thing that he's trying to prove that white people didn't do it, you son of a. And the woman with the water in the pot that got executed by that cop, who I hope is serving ice water in hell.
You said that a young woman with a pot of water acted so suspiciously that she should be shot by cops.
I think that this is justified, but it could have been avoided, but still justified. You can't throw boiling water on a police officer and not get shot.
But you don't think people that were on a boat with somebody in proximity to somebody and that person come that day acting so suspicious they should be questioned?
Hold on. They were questioned, Stu Head. They talked to the police. This is why y'all ain't never gonna make it in life, man.
These motherfuckers are around with black death. There are children being hung, black children being hung now. And he's playing games with people's relatives and like that. Man, I'm telling you, we need some ancestral intervening.
The stronger criticism is that Tatum's commentary sometimes appears to offer more compassion to people accused of wrongdoing than to the black people disturbed by the case. That does not mean Tatum is necessarily wrong about the evidence. People should not be accused of murder simply because they were white and Nolan was black. Social media speculation can ruin innocent lives, and questioning an online theory is not automatically betrayal. But Tatum's critics are also not irrational for approaching the case with suspicion. Black families have repeatedly seen suspicious deaths dismissed too quickly, investigations handled poorly, and victims blamed before all the facts were known. Historical distrust does not prove murder, but it explains why nothing to see here arguments are received so badly.
And then you got a white wife, which I don't have a problem. Like I said, I don't have a problem with the interracial the people think I have. But when you're downing people, you're talking about black death, and you're walking around with a non-black person, that's sacrilege, my man. That's sacrilege. And I hope something happens to you where you want us to accept you again. I hope you stay over there. Nobody will accept you again. All right? So like I said, it's time to call the X-Men. No, in fact, the Malcolm X-Men.
Judging by the response on the Godfrey's Instagram video, much of his audience agrees with him. Much of the visible comments appear to support Godfrey's attack rather than defend Tatum. Tatum has not directly answered Godfrey yet. However, he has already signaled that responses to his critics are coming, and he has continued the confrontation by responding to Don Lemon over coverage of Nolan's case.
I wasn't even going to address it, but someone said that he dropped something about me, like threatening something. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I don't even know who this dude is. I met him at a conference. We were in a room together, and it was just bizarre. So he's talking about something I don't even know. I looked at like the beginning of it and I said, this shit doesn't even make sense. I don't know what he's talking about. And I choose to spend my time wisely. And
now the only reason that I didn't just completely blast him is because in part, I want to keep a private conversation private. Now, Don Lemon know exactly what I'm talking about. I will give him a hint. He claims, oh, I'm not doing this for the money. And this is what stood out to me and why I lost respect for Don Lemon even more when we were at this conference, because he says, I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in it for the money. And the question that he asked of the YouTube staff regarding things that makes him money was off-putting to me.
Godfrey may eventually receive the reply he appears to be asking for, but this argument has now grown beyond one comedian and one conservative commentator. Godfrey believes Tatum has become successful by opposing black interests. Tatum believes Godfrey and his other critics are ignoring evidence because they need Nolan's death to support a racial narrative. Both men claim they are defending the truth, and while they prepare for the next round of insults, Nolan Wells' family is still waiting for something more important than a podcast victory.